wanna dance among the stars. These after hours got me charged and open. Living for the night like it is golden. Yeah, I came to win, I'm never folding. I just wanna dance among the stars. These after hours got me charged and I just wanna dance among the stars. I just wanna dance among the stars. I just wanna dance among the stars. These after hours got me charged and
You are now live. All right, guys. What is going on? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 140. And tonight, we're going to be talking with a very special guest. He's a returning guest to the podcast, Bob Carson. We're going to be talking about his journey as a cancer survivor of testicular cancer. We're also going to be talking about resiliency. We'll kind of loop that in together, and we'll also talk about Bob is going to be having an upcoming show next month, so he's going to be hopping back into the boxing ring at 43 after his battle with cancer. This is going to be an exciting journey, so we're going to talk to Bob tonight. So I want to welcome Bob in. Welcome back to the podcast, Bob. Thank you for coming on tonight.
I really appreciate you having me. You guys do a great job, and thank you for the introduction, and thank you for putting my IG handle and all my contact information on my screen. I appreciate it, man. It looks great.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And you know, your story is super interesting. I think it's something that spreading awareness is something that could be huge. And it's good that we have the platform, and we can bring you on. I just want to give a quick note, guys. George is going to be joining us in about 15-20 minutes or so. He's on the road, so he's on the move right now, and he's having a little bit of Wi-Fi connectivity issue. So he'll join us as soon as he's able to get situated and set up. With that being said, guys, we'll dive right in. I'll start the discussion with Bob. But before we do, just want to say, if you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to turn notifications on. We release content every single week, primarily related to personal development or sports, so you don't want to miss it. If you like what you see, always hit the like button too. If you're watching on Facebook, same thing, hit the like button. Feel free to comment in tonight. We'll put your comments on the screen, guys, and we'll answer any questions that you may have, or if you have any insight, we'll put it up on the screen here. And with that being said, welcome to the podcast, and enjoy the show. Bob, so I guess we'll start, man, with your journey through cancer. Testicular cancer. I feel like it's a known cancer, but I feel like it's not. It's actually probably one of the forms of cancer. It's not talked about a ton. It's not like lung cancer, stuff like that. But man, what was it like? when with the journey, the whole journey, just going through everything, man, like what was your experience like so far, like with this battle? Because like you said, we were actually talking for the podcast, you may never be out of the woods with it, but right now, can obviously resiliency and everything. What has your journey been like?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question, Stephen. And so basically, I was never familiar with testicular cancer, even though the anxiety part of me always likes to research cancer and all go to Dr. Google and find out all about what I can. But I wasn't familiar with testicular cancer. What ended up happening was I developed a lump on my left testicle. A couple months before that, I was boxing. As you mentioned, I box. I do amateur boxing, masters boxing, and I got hit in that same testicle several months before I experienced a lump, and it was a real bad shot that I took that testicle, the worst I've ever had in my life. And of course, I had a cup on, and so when I got the lump, initially I said, you know what, that's just swelling from the testicle. That's not anything really I need to worry about unless it doesn't go away. It didn't go away. I went to my urgent care facility. They sent me for an ultrasound. They also gave me some anti-inflammatory medication. They said, if that doesn't go down, that doesn't reduce the swelling, you got a problem. And I went to an ultrasound, and then they told me the next day that there's a suspicious mass on my testicle. Now, with testicular cancer, it develops on the testicle, and it's a 90% chance if you have a lump on your testicle, it's cancer. They say in the oncology world it's cancer until proven otherwise. And so I saw a urologist. He diagnosed me after an examination with testicular cancer. Now, the thing with testicular cancer, there's two tumor cells, or two tumors. There's seminoma and non-seminoma. Seminoma is not that aggressive of a testicular cancer tumor, and there's non-seminoma. Non-seminoma is comprised of 5 tumor cells, and I had the non-seminoma cancer. I had what's called an orchiectomy. That's where they remove your testicle. I had a subsequent CT scan and blood work. Everything is negative. Everything is fine. All indications are that I was cured once they removed the testicle. Although with my type of testicular cancer, there is a chance of reoccurrence, what they call reoccurrence, when the cancer comes back. But in general, testicular cancer is very rare. We're talking about 10,000 people a year that get diagnosed with testicular cancer. So, you mentioned breast cancer, lung cancer. Lung cancer and breast cancer, they're a lot more widespread than testicular cancer, which only affects men. And part of the reason why you don't hear a lot about testicular cancer is because it is so rare. On the grand scheme of things, in terms of the deadliest cancers, testicular cancer, I believe, is the third least deadly cancer behind thyroid cancer and bladder cancer, I believe, respectively. So it is a very treatable. It's about a 95% cure rate. It's not like with other cancers where other cancers, they could just contain the cancer. They can't cure it. Testicular cancer, regardless of the stage, pretty much has an extremely high survival rate and a cure rate of 90, but depending upon the source you consult, 99.9%, 95% cure rate. So in that sense, however, it can be, if you don't catch it in stage 1, and most testicular cancer cases are diagnosed at stage 1, it could be regressive, and it could be life-threatening, and it could be deadly. About 400 or 500 people a year die from testicular cancer. So I went through this journey, and up until this point, and I told you this off the air, it's been primarily a mental battle. With cancer, when you have cancer on your testicle or wherever it is, and one of the things about testicular cancer, it's a visible cancer. You could see it's one of the few visible cancers. You don't know the scope of it. So when I had, when I knew I had cancer, I didn't know how far it spread. I had people in my life that were, alarmist and hysterical and trying to, they convinced me that it spread to everywhere in my body. I convinced myself it spread everywhere in my body. I convinced myself that, I was going to die. And then once I get what's called the pathology report, that's when they put your cancer tumor under a microscope. They could tell you the proper stage of this, the proper scope of what type of tumor you had, the size of it, the type of different cancer you have. That's when I felt a little better, because I knew the scope of it at that point. It is one of the worst things you can go through is not knowing the scope, having cancer, number one, then not knowing the scope of it. Then pretty much, as somebody that I am, a anxiety person, I am what you call hypochondriac, no question about it. It makes it worse, because now you actually had it, and now you have something really, really to worry about if you let your mind kind of go out of control. So it's been a real battle in that sense, but with God's grace, it won't come back. This is a one and done thing. I can inspire people. I can have my boxing events, and I could have my charity events, and I could try to raise awareness and raise money for the cause of testicular cancer, which affects people from 10 to 45. So this is a young person's disease, but you can get it outside of those ages as well. It's mainly a white person's disease. Not a lot of African Americans are getting testicular cancer. There has been an uptick in the Hispanic community that has gotten testicular cancer. So, I have a follow-up with my oncologist, and I'm continuing on my life, man. I had my testicle removed. I have a scar on my abdomen above the pelvic area, and it's a reminder that cancer's taken my testicle, and hopefully I won't have to go through chemo or anything like that.
Wow, man. Thank you for sharing all of that. Wow, man. Yeah, no, it's
it's a lot of info.
No, I appreciate you sharing, and I absolutely love what you're doing with the spreading awareness and everything. I did do a little research, and I did see the cure rate being 95%, but I didn't know that it only affected about 10,000 people per year. Wow, that definitely makes sense. With like the why there's not as much awareness, and like you said, it's only in men. Obviously, it's not one of the cancers that's going to affect men and women.
Right.
Wow. I did not know that, and I didn't know that most of it is caught in stage 1. But obviously, if you don't catch it early, it could be life threatening. But
yeah,
wow, man. Thank you for sharing, and I really, like I said, I really love what you're doing to spread awareness over this.
Yeah, I think it's very important. It's a mission that I have, and I'm working with this organization called the Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation. The CEO is a lady from Colorado named Kim Jones. She lost her son to testicular cancer when he was 22 years old. He was diagnosed around 12 or 13. And at one point, he had over 100 tumors in his body. He got cured, and then 7 years later, he had a real bad relapse, and he died. And they diagnosed him at stage 2 or 3, and it's a real sad situation. But the Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation does good things with people like me. They have resources for people. And they've sent me a lot of literature and material to try to disseminate. If I could have events and whatnot going forward. And their website is testicularcancerawareness.org. They offer programs, they offer resources, they offer how to self-check yourself, how to do a lot, and to make people aware of this, because unfortunately, it looks like there's been an uptick in general in cases with testicular cancer. But there's a lot of different things here, because this cancer affects people in the prime of their life, and the people that are young and have so much to look forward to in terms of children, in terms of marriage and whatnot. And it is very, very difficult to deal with mentally having cancer, because cancer is one of the worst things that you can have. It's one of the worst things. It's everybody dreads. It's that dreaded C word, and whatnot. So I feel incumbent upon myself to raise awareness, and don't let it define me, even though it'll always be a part of your life. I'm very sensitive to this day, because when I got diagnosed, I went through the gambit of emotions. I was angry, and I still am a little angry. Just sad, whatnot. Why me? so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it ties into what you're talking about, resilience. You have to keep on going, and you have to have the best possible attitude that you can have going forward, and process things the right way so that you can grow, from whatever experience you're facing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, resilience, I feel like most people talk resilience until they actually, they face it. It's tough. When obviously, life throws barbs at us sometimes, and obviously we're not expecting them, but I really do believe that, resilience crafts the toughest warriors at very difficult times and obstacles. And not everybody might believe in God or whatever you believe in, but sometimes there's a saying that says, God gives his toughest challenges to his toughest warriors sometimes. And sometimes, I do believe that to be a little bit true. You notice some of the greatest people in the world, some of the most humble and nicest people, they go through some of the toughest challenges in life. I think that's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer I have faith, and I am a big believer and practicer of self-help. And there is reoccurring themes among some of the podcasts that I listen to, within the self-help genre, and one of which is that there's always somebody out there that has it worse than you do in a planet of 7 billion people, whether you're a drug addict, whether you have cancer, whether you have financial issues. There's always somebody that has it worse than you and then is happier than you are, and that is adjusting well. And that's something important to remember, going forward. It's important to have faith. It's important to remain positive and try to inspire people. There was a book that I read. It's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was in the Nazi prison camps, and he said something to the effect, and I'm probably going to butcher it here, that he who has a why can bear almost any how. If you have a purpose in life, if you know why you'll while you're alive and whatnot, you could find a way to do it. You could find how to do it. And I think this is my why. This is part of my why, and the how is pretty much coming to me. You know what I mean? I'm a guy that I was 350 pounds. I lost a lot of weight, and I'm in a new chapter in my life. I had a rebirth. I had a resurgence. In terms of my mindset and my body transformation from the age of 39. Most people that are in their 40s, early 40s, they're gearing towards either not retirement but raising a family, and they're not in the push yourself competitive phase of their lives. Maybe they went through that in their 20s. Everybody's different. Everybody different upbringings and whatnot. But I'm in the push myself phase, motivation phase, work phase, transformation phase, and I think I will be for a long time. Even the fact that I had cancer, that doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't slow me down and whatnot. I think I'll be in this phase for a long time, and try to help people and try to inspire people. You never know who's watching, or you never know who's listening.
Absolutely. And while cancer, you have the scar on your abdomen and everything, is a reminder of cancer, I think it's also a reminder of the resilience that you have too, because you're a survivor. And honestly, I know we talked about like you were just saying, your weight loss journey. I think one of the last few past podcasts that we've had, man, I got to tell you, that's absolutely inspiring too, man. I knowing you, it's an honor, honestly, to know you, and that's inspiring because you're absolutely right. Someone who's usually in their late 30s, early 40s, everybody has different upbringings, like you said, but most people might not be motivated to push themselves at that age. A lot of people, I think, get very content, very complacent. And it might just be due to the factors around them, the people around them, or just like the factors they have going on in their life. But I've seen your journey and your story, and I saw pictures from before, and it's incredible to see what you've gone through. And I think in the spring, or starting this year, I saw that you were putting in the work, and you had dropped a lot of weight this year too, putting in the work, even against I think the doctor had told you, not to do something, but you just kept going, man. It's a mindset thing. And if you're feeling good, man, that's you kind of know what's best. You can, when you're working out, you're exercising, you're eating right, you feel the best possible version of yourself. And I'm a firm believer is that if you can feel the best possible version of yourself, you can accomplish anything else. So whether it's, financial, anything. Like, you're the best person. You're the best version of yourself at that level. Your energy levels are peak. So it's incredible to see your journey.
Yeah, and I want to commend you too, because I know you work out very hard too, and you're of that mindset, as far as I could tell, and yeah, it's very, very important. You mentioned something that you the best, and you know yourself the best, because not everybody is going to approve of what you do, and not everybody's going to have kind things to say or whatnot, and that includes some people that are very, very close to you. Not everybody approves of me doing boxing, because people don't want to do that for themselves. People that are, in their 40s or 50s, they don't realize how important it is for someone like myself to do that, to compete, to push myself, to not be afraid. When you do boxing, and I've done MMA before, when I was younger, yeah, excuse me, the light just went out here in my car.
That's okay.
I'm going to try to power the car off, so hopefully I won't lose any type of connection here. But it could be a very, very intimidating environment when you do MMA, or when you do boxing. You got people staring at you, mean mugging you, and whatnot. And if you could conquer your fear, but I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to go out there and you may knock me out and I may knock you out, but I will not lose the fear. That's invigorating, and that's part of the channel, part of the challenge that I have with boxing. Can you hear me, Steve? I can hear you good.
Yep, I hear you perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and not too many people are willing to do that. Willing to get punched in the face. Very, very few people are, and especially very, very few people my age and whatnot. And so I look at it as very, very important part of my journey. And I'll leave you with this, and I'll throw it back to you. My self-help podcast, I listen to a podcast called The Happiness Podcast with Dr. Robert Puff. He's a psychotherapist, and he does a great job. And I also listen to a podcast called The Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial. They've both said this: comparison is the path of suffering. If you compare yourself to somebody who's writing their chapter 50 and you're only on your chapter 1 or 2, you're going to inevitably lose. So I don't compare myself to anybody except myself. Maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. Is my bank account bigger than it was 6 months ago? Is my body in better shape? Am I a better boxer than I was 6 months ago? That's it. That's my journey. That's how I process. I approach this, and I think that if we do that, we win, because we're bettering ourselves. We're competing ourselves. Whatever game you want to play. If you want to play the finance game, if you want to play the investment game, if you want to play the physical fitness game, or the happiness game, which I think is probably the most important thing. You hang out with like-minded people, and you don't compare yourself to other people. You compare yourself to yourself, and chances are you'll make out good.
Exactly, and you'll be happiest that way. I really feel that, and I absolutely agree with that. The comparison, yeah, no, it's the greatest suffering, because especially now, right? We have social media. You could be honestly doing a lot of great stuff in your life, and all you got to do is look on Instagram or look on Facebook, and you can see what the next guy's doing. You'll be like, oh, I wish I had that life. But really, we don't really ever know what's going on behind the scenes inside somebody's life. It's honestly just a highlight reel. You don't ever really know, and that's the best point that's a great point that you make, that you just got to compare where you were. I think there was a saying one time, it said sometimes we get so caught up in our own life, and we don't even recognize that years ago, the spot that we were praying to be in, we're actually living it right now, because of how much growth we've made from our past self. We don't even recognize, because we get caught up with everything else that's going on around us.
That's true.
Absolutely. George, I want to welcome you in, by the way. Welcome in, man.
No problem, bro. I bet I took a little longer than I thought, but I made it. And no, I was agreeing with what you guys were saying. It's true, like Bob made some great points. I did hear a little of the conversation. I didn't miss a lot while driving here. So
that's good, man. Well, welcome in, man. It seems like your connection sounds fine, man. I don't hear any static, so everything sounds good, man. Welcome in. We were talking about Bob's journey through cancer. We're talking a little bit about resilience, and then Bob getting back in the ring. I wanted to say also, I absolutely agree, Bob. I can imagine how most people that are in their 40s aren't going to want to, they think of boxing probably as something violent, like as something, but to you, it's a lot deeper than that. I would say, honestly, for you and George, I'm sure like fighting, it's also a good thing for your mental health too. It's something you literally enjoy, and it makes you happy to literally compete. So it's something that literally brings joy to your life. A lot of people don't look at it; they look at it, oh, it's a violent sport, or it's I guess George, I went out. I guess I'll come right back in, but yeah, no, it's much deeper than that. It's kind of like the gym for some people too. People look at the gym, some people, and they might be like, it's something that like I don't want to do. But for some people, it's a mental release, which it's important to some people. They need
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely. Well said. You know what? And that's the thing too, is that some people choose to do CrossFit, some people choose to do Tough Mudder's marathons. I choose to do boxing. And while I'm doing boxing, to me, there's no attachments to results. I literally, and this is the God's honest truth, I'm fighting September 16th. I fought in May as part of Rude Dog Boxing in Connecticut. And I literally could care less about winning or losing. And people can't fathom, why you don't care about winning or losing. No, I don't. You know why? Because I don't have any attachments to results. I just want to get better. I just want to do it. I just want God to grant me the ability to go out there and compete, which is something I love to do, without any expectations, attachments to results, and whatnot. And that's it. I'm not training to become a professional boxer. Where it's 10 rounds of head punches and all that stuff. Although, if I ever got good enough, I would do that, but it's probably not in my deck of cards. Even if I was 20 years old, I don't think I would be, to make a living at boxing, to do that and make a dent, you got to be the cream of the crop in terms of athleticism and genetics. And I'm probably not going to do that, but that doesn't mean I can't compete. It doesn't mean that I can't push myself amongst like-minded people that have an important desire to compete, regardless of anybody, regardless of what people say, and that's a real. And boxing is a different sport. It's a lot different than MMA. MMA is a primarily young person sport. Predominantly, I would say most people that do MMA are upper middle class, white upper middle class. I mean, obviously, it's not just white people doing MMA, but the crowd, the MMA crowds. Boxing is a little bit more community oriented. Boxing is a little bit more, in my opinion, kind of working class a little bit. Guys, that aren't making millions of dollars, aren't college kids and whatnot, and people come from rough areas and rough neighborhoods and whatnot. And so I sort of have a kinship with boxing, and it's great to do this, and I'll do this as long as God allows me to do this. God could say, you know what, no, we're not going to allow you to do this. Things change. Sometimes life changes. The only thing that's constant is change in life. So I'm grateful to be able to do this, and I'm grateful to be able to try to inspire people by virtue of me just doing this.
Absolutely, man. It's a great freedom in it. And that's an interesting dynamic too with boxing being a little more working class. I honestly get that feel from boxing as well. I feel like it's a little bit more community oriented. So it's like it kind of feels like a little bit of a camaraderie too. Yeah, that we were talking about that before the podcast too. It builds something of camaraderie. I feel it's something honestly that makes you happy, and that's great that you literally just like to go out there and compete. There's no attachment to results, and I feel like that's when it's the most fun too. It's great to go out and be competitive, but there's a difference, I think, between being competitive and then being a sore loser when you lose versus being competitive and then just honestly having fun with it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great mindset, man. You could be competitive but still have fun with it too.
Absolutely. My goal is really to make my school look good, and belong out there. I belong out there. I put the work and I belong in there. Again, I'm probably not going to win most of this time, but I'm capable of winning. I'm capable of making my school look good and putting the best effort that I can and fighting with heart and fighting with conviction, regardless of the results. I think that's an important point. And, the boxing MMA comparison, it's kind of interesting because I could tell you most MMA gyms, and I've been around the sport of MMA as a competitor and as a podcaster since really the late '90s. Most MMA gyms
Yep.
are $200-300 a month for classes. Well, you got boxing gyms that are $50 a month for unlimited classes. You will not find an MMA gym that has that price. These are YMCA, community-driven prices here. And that's. I mean, there are some but for the most part, boxing they have run on community pricing, whatnot. And if you want to go to a boxing event like this event that I'm fighting at the Masters International Tournament, September 16th and September 17th at the Showboat Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, tickets are only $25.
Wow.
And ringside tickets are $35. Now, try to go to a UFC event and see what you're going to pay. UFC, you're going to pay $200 for the highest ticket in the arena. You're not going to pay that with boxing. With local club shows, you're not going to pay that. I can assure you. So right there, that's something that benefits the community. The different programs that boxing gyms do. I don't see MMA gyms do programs. They may sponsor law enforcement, do some law enforcement. They don't do community. Not a lot of them do community programs. It's important. It's important. So I'm not saying boxing doesn't have its problems with corruption, and there's not problem. There is. I mean, nothing's perfect, but I just see more of a community outreach with boxing than in MMA.
Absolutely. I wanted to also say, Marius commented, and he said, at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy. If boxing or MMA makes you brings you joy, then go for it. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, do what makes you happy. And so you said you're going to be fighting on September 16th at the Showboat.
Yeah, the tournament is September 16th to September 17th, and it's there's over 150 fighters that are going to be competing from all across the world. And I can tell George can attest to this too, because George was at my fight for Road Dog Boxing, and George basically warmed me up and basically cornered me. In my opinion, there are more knockouts with Masters boxing than regular Golden Gloves, because guys in their Masters division, they're just releasing energy. They're just out there leaving it all, pushing themselves and trying to knock, and not trying to score points or not that doesn't go on, but for the most part, it's not a point fighting thing like you see in the Golden Gloves. Right. You get a lot of knockouts there, and George can personally attest to that. George saw it firsthand.
Yeah, I was there. And it was a great time. Bob did good. All kinds of ages, Steve. I mean, guys that have computer desk jobs can go in and compete.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's almost like for fun, but for the honor of doing that, just for the love of the sport.
George, are you going to go up on the 16th to go watch it all? I was going to say, for only $25, if I have to check my calendar, if nothing's going on, is the event still open? Because maybe I'll get tickets and go up and support. I don't the show, but it's not that far.
I should be able to go. Yeah, I'm going to see what I could do. I'll probably go.
Yeah, let's coordinate.
Yeah,
I'd love to go up and check it out if I got nothing going on.
It'll be fun. I mean,
yeah, and I'll give you guys information. I have information. We don't sell tickets or anything like that. But there are tickets available, but and like I said, they're reasonably priced. And I've never been at this venue, but I'd be willing to bet you that you could probably get a good view of the action no matter where you are.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, you can, because last time they were good seats. It's not really a huge event, but one AC might be bigger, because one in Connecticut, as Bob just explained, it's a little smaller, but this one's gonna be bigger because it's a bigger arena, more people, and just more of like a show. Like, you can see more, like, just everything. Better view, it's in AC, it's a nightlife, so it's gonna be some people. I mean, I'm sure they don't sell tickets, and they usually do, but the promoter, Paul, he's actually a great guy too. I think I was telling Steve, I told you, Steve, that he went pro at like 51 or 52, but you know what? He did it. Yeah. 52. To go pro 52 is a good thing. I mean, if you can make it, it means you never quit. So I can't be mad at that. I feel like to each their own, and that's actually pretty cool. You can say you fought pro. So the event is pretty nice, man. And this, again, me and Bob were talking about it, and then after, he had the news that he kind of got diagnosed with testicular cancer. I was like, all right, well, what was the first question, Bob? I was like, yo, man, are you gonna be able to fight again? He's like, yeah, I might be able to, but I got to a doctor. I'm not sure. And then everything, went for the better. So, I was happy for Bob when that happened, that everything went well, so to speak, and everything kind of slowly shifted back to normal,
Yeah, resilience and perseverance, man. That'll help you too in cancer. I think, like, Steve, the mindset that you have, you could process things differently. For some people that get a cancer diagnosis at 43, they shut down. That's it. And they don't push themselves, and they die. For other people, they get past it, and it's all how you process the stuff. And so I think that's really, an important point is perseverance, resilience, and fortitude, just going forward.
I agree
Absolutely.
with that.
Absolutely. And it builds, the more things you go through too, the more resilience you build. I really do believe it builds strong character. It really does. It really shows what you're made of. Because you're right, a lot of people that face adversity, they can just fold up and just fold. They could literally just fold, and it could crumble, and they could let that affect their life. Say if someone receives a cancer diagnosis, your mindset's either going to be two things. It's going to be, I'm gonna beat this, or I'm gonna die trying to beat it. I'm gonna have the positive mindset to tackle this, face this adversity, or they could just give up. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure I'm obviously myself, respectfully, never been diagnosed with cancer yet. Fingers crossed, but I can imagine when you first get the news, it's daunting. Obviously, it's everybody can say I'm going to be resilient until they get that news, because it's daunting. Because cancer obviously is deadly if it's not treated correctly, and depending on what type of cancer you have, and the survival rate,
how long it's been,
very daunting.
A
But
lot of factors for sure.
But some of the strongest people I know are people that have faced cancer and have beat it. I honestly had I had a teacher who had had it multiple times. I think he beat it 3 times. Now he's living. Yeah. But some of the strongest people I know are people that have faced it, and I think there's going to be 2 mindsets if you get it. Obviously, at first, you might be a little scared, but you're either going to face the adversity, or you're just going to kind of be like, "Woe is me." And it's there's only kind of like 2 mindsets. I'm sure.
Yeah. That's a great point. And sometimes, you could go between both of them, but for the most part, I try to have the former. I try to rise up to the occasion. But there are times where it's involuntary, where you get depressed. Still to this day, I get pains in my stomach. I have all sorts of issues, digestive issues, and you think, oh, is this? Is this a reoccurrence? And to a certain extent, that's natural. But you can't dwell on it. You got to keep your best foot forward and keep your attitude as positive as you can, because that makes you more likely to persevere and to rise above these difficult circumstances.
Yeah,
absolutely. Kind of builds a callous mind, but. And I love that you're doing the boxing event, everything, and like charitable and everything like that. That's what I said. I obviously you'll have to. I'll look at my calendar. If I have nothing going on, honestly, I would love to go down and support. And I'm all for trying to help out.
It would be a good idea. We could go.
Awareness. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, George, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to join you and go down. And
it
go out.
The week after the boat trip, but we could probably go. We get the boat trip the 9th and 10th. It'll be the week after that, September 16th. But I would be okay with that. I'd be open to that.
Yeah, it'd be good to meet you in person too, Bob. Because we've never actually officially met in person, so it'd be great to meet you in person finally.
Absolutely, you seem like such a fine young man, and George and I have known each other for 2 years now, and George is a solid guy, probably one of my closest friends, and it'd be great, man. And we could, in the future too, there's a lot of stuff that we can do, because all of us are physically active. All of us like to work out, and it's good to be around like-minded people. And I believe that energy and mindset is transferable. If you have somebody that is determined, their brainwaves, their whatever kind of transfers over to other people. And I think that'll be really, really good for us to do. So if you guys can make it, that'd be great. I'm sure you guys will like the action, and it'll be worth $25 will be worth every dollar that you spend for this. That's for sure.
Not bad. It's not bad. 25 ain't nothing. We can make it.
Absolutely. And I agree. I do believe energy. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, and I do believe that I agree there. Energy is transferable. They tell you
Yeah.
you're the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So if you're like a very ambitious person and you never really see somebody who's very ambitious surrounded by 4 other people that are not ambitious in the same
Yep.
circle, because it just doesn't really work that way. It's kind of like
Doesn't that up,
the energy wears off onto you. Yeah, and it's that's why they say, if sometimes people outgrow people. They might be friends with people for a long time, but they might be going somewhere. And respectfully, it doesn't mean they have to kind of burn a bridge. But if they used to spend a lot of time around certain people, sometimes they have to kind of separate themselves a little bit, and because they know that they want something, but the other people are a little bit complacent. But I do believe energy is transferable, and I agree. We all kind of are a little bit like minded. We're people. We stay active. We go to the gym. Maybe we can all hit a gym session together sometime too. That would be great.
That'd be great.
Me and George we had a workout session it was a long time coming. We hadn't had one in a little while together, but we went last night. Got a good workout.
That's awesome.
Right here.
Absolutely. We got the same water, man. Great minds think alike. We sent you. Same thing, yeah.
You guys make me feel jealous. I got this Poland Spring water. Yeah.
I drink Poland Spring too. To be honest, if I'm being honest, this is just I drank this earlier, and this is just refilled with tap water.
Oh.
So it's actually just plain water. Yeah.
That's cool though.
It's good stuff. It's healthy. It's good for you. That's why I drink it a lot, bro.
Electrolyte water, yeah.
I've been used to drinking this. Bobby's actually been, like I said, he's actually been good with diet. He's been training a lot.
Let me ask you, how many can you guys drink a gallon? Because I try to do that 75 hard challenge, and that's the Andy Frischella's challenge. And they make you drink a gallon of water a day, and it's like that's 128 ounces. Do you guys drink that much water in a day or no?
I aim to every day, and
I try.
My brother, he's a pretty big guy. He can drink 2 gallons a day sometimes. It's like a lot of water. The one thing I do just to spice it up a little bit is I love drinking plain regular water. But I do I'll put little flavor, non-sugar, no sugar added, flavor packets, sugar-free little flavor packets are 5 calories. And depends if I want lemonade or something, you put it in. You can get them at Walmart, Walgreens.
Yeah.
You put it in, and it spices it up for it. It mixes it up for you throughout the day, and it's still sugar free. There's no sugar into it. It's just 5 calories, and
yeah. It almost reminds me of the Mio. You ever see the Mio?
Yeah.
I used to be
I know
that
what you're talking about.
Yeah, the little liquid. You put it in your drink, and you shake it up, and it gives you a little bit of flavor. I know other people sometimes what they'll do too is maybe sparkling water, but it'll obviously, a good thing with that is it can actually, because it's carbonated, fill you up a little bit too. So when you're hungry or something, or when people
blows you a little bit.
Yeah, it can. So you can drink it slowly, but
it
can. They tell you if you drink it an hour to 30 minutes before a meal, you'll eat less too, because it carbonates you, so it fills your stomach up a little bit as well.
My dad drinks some of that spritz water and that water, carbonated water. It definitely can slow down your appetite for sure.
Yeah, now I'm used to drinking 1 gallon of water, but back in the day, I wasn't always. I feel like it once you start doing it enough, I feel like it becomes somewhat easy. But everybody has different methods. Some people get those big gallon bottles, and it has the markings of at the different times of day that you drink them, and it keeps you on track. But yeah, so you said it's a little bit tough for you that as of late to try to.
I can't do it every day. I mean, I can. I generally probably drink at least 60 or 70 ounces of water, but sometimes it's hard for me to get a whole gallon down. But then it's variable. If I do a lot of cardio, I run multiple times a week. So sometimes if I run 5 miles and it's hot, I could drink 50, 60, 70 ounces right there. So it's kind of hard, but sometimes I just find it hard.
But it's worth it though.
Exactly. I would say it depends. If there's a day where you're not working out, obviously I think it would be much harder for you to drink that gallon versus me and George were in the gym last night, and I think I drank 1.5 liters, 2 liters. I had 2 of these filled up, and we were
you did have 2 of those.
I drank 2 of these in the span that we were there. So that's honestly, I think 2 of these is about 2 liters. I think at 3.75 liters is considered a gallon. So there's almost a half gallon right there. But if I wasn't working out, it's a little harder. I think when you work out, obviously, you become dehydrated quicker.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it really,
it's true. It's true. we kind of we're active guys, so we always are. We're moving around in the gym, so it's good to drink water. But it's been so humid, and you get dry so fast. I mean, dry mouth, and when you drink water, you really kind of opens up your skull. You feel like everything, your ears open up a little. You feel like you feel alive, bro. So drinking is good, like any liquid, but water is very important. So it's number one, really. So you know what I mean. Water is number one, definitely. Yeah. And for guys like me and Bob that try to cut some weight, it's good to drink water, be dehydrated a little bit, and then cut the weight, but then drink water because it's better to eat. I mean, it's better to drink water than eat. So you know what I mean. You drink water, you're peeing, you're running around, you're hitting pads, boom, boom, you're sweating, you do jump rope, you go out there, do what you got to do, use the bathroom, do number one and number two, and then before you know it, you lost like 7 pounds, but you could have really probably like lost 3 if you just stood around. You lose a pound in your sleep. So again, cutting weight's a little different, but I don't think Bob got to cut a lot of weight this time, right, Bob? You don't got to cut a whole lot of weight.
No, I'm right around. See, the Masters division, you fight to within 10 pounds, so I'm right around 170 or right there. That's what I want to fight out. So I'll be there.
Yeah, 170. It's around my weight class. Even though I'm a little heavier right now, I want to fight about that as well. But there might be some opportunities for us, Bob. We might be able to do a pancreas match, aka a pancreas hybrid wrestling match, but not use the name. Use something like a little different name, basically. I talked to some guys, and we're probably gonna be looking back to the regular bro.
Good.
Because pancreas
awesome.
fell off. But yeah, we might be back. So I'll let you know more about it behind the scenes, and I'll let you as well. I'll fill you in as well, Steve. But things are looking good. But for right now, the boxing sounds excellent, and I mean, we're very supportive, man. I don't see no problem why we can't come and watch. And I mean, I'll probably do something in October with Bob. We already discussed it. I'm actually in the process of trying to get my USA boxing license. Bob is kind of helping me do it as well. He knows about it. I know about it. So we're just trying to kind of tell you, Steve. I think I mentioned to you, Steve, that I was going to do something as well. So a while back. So like I said, I'm just getting ready for that. And honestly, bro, these fights are nice, bro. Maybe you can bring your girl. That'd be nice. We can just kind of watch and see. That'd be fun. It's a nice event, bro. It's fun. It's not like a violent event. It's actually pretty smooth to the point. The good thing is, and Bob will tell you this, for the Masters division, 1 minute rounds are not bad. Even 2 would be okay, or 1.5. If you can agree if both parties, want to do it, 1.5 is good. But I mean, it's fine. Like
Absolutely.
1 minute round.
Yeah, you could go all the way up to 2 minutes with the Masters. Like with the Golden Gloves, the young guys, I think it's 3-minute rounds. But with the Masters, it's anywhere from a minute, like you said, George, to 2 minutes if both fighters agree to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
nice,
definitely.
Man. I did not know that, so it's good knowledge to know. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in going out. Like I said, if I, George, I'd love to, head out and we'll join and we'll definitely go and support, guys. If you have nothing going on, you're in the area. You said there's events on Saturday. Are you fighting on the 16th?
Well, that's a good question because I don't know. I know that the first fight starts at 1 p.m. on the 16th. The weigh-ins are 9 a.m. on the 16th. So I could very well be fighting on that day or there was a Sunday. I think it depends on how many people are in my division. You never know. But people could go to USAMastersBoxing.com/New Jersey, USAMastersBoxing.com/New Jersey. You could see more information on the event.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy tickets, I think you could buy tickets through that website as well.
It's quite easy actually. Go online because me and Bob already looked at it, and it's like everything's it's actually more accurate online than on the papers when you go to the event or when they tell you, whatever's written on actually there in the wall. Like sometimes they say things. The one lady tried to charge Bob like $30 when he was a boxer. I understand me, but we snuck in somehow. I think Bob actually paid an extra one. But remember that time? No,
yeah.
He should be paying. Oh, we came late. He shot finesse. Like I don't know what's going on here, but online you get information, you get your ticket. We're good. No BS, bro. We'll support Bob, and then maybe you come around again, Steve. We can do more shows like this. And I mean, when Bob does some stuff, we can do some small promos, and I mean, Bob definitely does promotion, and he actually helps the podcast when he can too. So we can do some mini promos for him as well.
I can help you too, guys. I have a long list of fighters that I've interviewed over the years, and phone numbers, and there's George. I know we talked about this in the past. There's opportunities. I could, if you guys ever want to interview some people in the MMA genre and whatnot, you just let me know. I may be able to give you information or reach out to that person and get them to go on your show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we appreciate that, man. That's the great thing about collaborating. I put up the tag here. I put up to check out the match and everything. If you want to check out online, usamasters.com/New Jersey. So guys, feel free to check out the website. Like you said, you don't know, you might be fighting on the 16th or the 17th potentially. But either way, if there's nothing going on, I'd love to go and support.
I appreciate that very much, man. That'd be a big deal. If you can do it, you can do it. If not, your support is felt still by having me on the show, and you've always been very supportive of me, and I try to be supportive of you guys. So it's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Even that's what's up, man. Yeah, we appreciate the support as well, my man. And we got you, Bob, for sure. It's the third time on the show. You're pretty much an alumni now. You're like one of those like quasi like regulars, basically. I mean, you're pretty much like almost like because we have a couple of regulars, and you're becoming one of those guys too. 3 times. I mean, possibly.
Yeah, and you know what? I just did another interview with Colin Crandall, who hosts the MMA Power Hour, and Colin and I did Colin and I did a good Facebook Live thing. So I may be doing more podcasting go forward. So you guys will have to come on my show on Facebook Live if Colin and I do something. We may be able to work that out.
This guy, Steve, is a legend. Like, these guys literally interview like Conor McGregor, the big names. He's in a big show. So I told you, Bob knows some connections and other connections as well that I don't want to necessarily talk about right now in this podcast, but we'll mention later on. But, Bob definitely knows, like, when it comes to the fighters and some of the even former has-been fighters are still kind of like legends. He knows, he get a connection with them. Did an interview that ended up on Hannibal TV. Hannibal TV is a great network for, again, pro wrestling and that real pro wrestling strong stuff from Japan, but also MMA. And you'll see a lot of big-time names and possibly somebody that we could bring, on our show, some of these names, Again, thanks to Bob. I mean, he knows Eric Paulson, who's a renowned, great, big-time martial artist. I mean, his own style of fighting. He operates out of, like, Minnesota, the academy out there somewhere, also California. And he's a master of many styles. And he started out this system called Combat Submission Wrestling, which Bob has heard about it too. And he's wrote a book. So Eric is one of them. Even our friend Dan Kaniki knows him pretty well. They've spoken before on the phone and know each other a little bit through the martial arts world. So we can bring some guests. I mean, Bob knows other people. I know people. So through the power of networking and planning it out, we shall definitely bring some good content and stuff that we possibly haven't done before. But again, we always aim to try to please the audience, to show something new, inspirational stories, motivational stuff, good content, fitness, definitely some martial arts stuff, being that's what I do as well, personal development, and a lot of stuff even about everything. We've done episodes on on a Bitcoin, on the metaverse, a little people that, how to try to generate income, 5 habits to drop to be successful, routines. We've done it all. So, I mean, these are the kind of shows that we like, and, we're glad we could bring something like that. And obviously, me and you, Bob, we got a lot more to bring as well as far as guests and people we know. So, I think it all works out, man. I'm happy as well. And I'm happy this interview and the podcast went well.
Absolutely. And I actually checked out, I was telling you, George, I checked out his interview with Colin a little bit the other night. I think it was on Sunday night, right? It went live. Yeah, I saw it was going live, so I wanted to check it out for a little bit. So I listened in a little bit to check it out.
Oh, thank you.
Very interesting. Yeah, interesting stuff. That also made me like excited for this week too. I was like, since we're gonna have you on and everything, that's why we wanted to reach out. But
Bob's got a good story, man. But yeah, definitely. What's it called? I know you guys covered. I got to hear a little on the way here, even if some of the stuff they missed. But definitely seemed like some of the people are saying like a nice story, good job. And like I said, like you said too, Steve, I'm glad that Bob is kind of putting out there in a positive way, Bob. And it looks good. I mean, he's look good, man. It's almost like a Rocky story, the story that you are the ultimate underdog, if anything, mixed with the boxing and almost like a Rocky Balboa story, But you gotta start small and build up. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Rocky was the most inspirational movie that I think exists out there, and it's funny because I don't want to get into political discussion, but one of my friends who is a longtime boxing reporter, and I'm not going to mention his name. And he was an MMA reporter, goes back to like 95, 96. He said, they invented Rocky, meaning that the white people, to take away from Muhammad Ali, who is the greatest boxer of all time. Saying basically Rocky's a racist character and whatnot. But you know what? It's inspiring. The Rocky movies, the Rocky soundtrack, it's probably the most inspirational character out there. And so, I love it, man. Yeah, I think of myself as a Rocky or a Rudy. You know, the with Sean Astin played the Rudy, for the Notre Dame football player who, just wanted to play. I have that spirit. I have that drive in me. And so yeah, I appreciate the comparison, George.
No doubt, no doubt. But I feel you. But honestly, bro, like you said, the soundtrack, yeah, they might say, I get it. It's like a little one of those like theories. Doesn't matter that like Rocky, the character necessarily is racist, but they probably like just want to, people are saying back and forth that like the concept of it might have been a little, to discredit some stuff to kind of like get in the way of, overshadow. But funny thing is, Muhammad Ali said that you stole my script. He said to Stallone during the show, and he said, "I'm the real life Apollo Creed," and Apollo Creed is in fact based a little on Muhammad Ali. But Apollo Creed won the first fight, so it's like it's all good. I mean, ain't nothing. I don't see nothing really wrong with that. The soundtrack of Rocky, nothing but soul. I mean, Rocky had soul, and the movie itself, he's in the '70s. Doing a very rough period in the city. Mid '70s, going to like late '70s. Those stories great. Rocky might be one of the best movies ever made. Not because of boxing, because the concepts and everything. Yeah, he shows everything from how fucked up he was, for lack of better terms, and segregation, all that, to Hispanic stories, to like everybody was struggling a little. Even Rocky, he was white, but he was going through a lot of stuff, and he made it. It's like they made it seem so awkward, but then he became like really like the hero. He becomes really the main guy, and then in Rocky 3, by the time Rocky 3 comes, you have like antagonizers. It's like they make the story all more likable. Him and Apollo become cool. They even have a sparring match that nobody knows about, like just them two, which is kind of dope. I thought, so it's really, a cool, fun story, and some funny moments in Rocky, but.
I was just rewatching Rocky 4. I was just rewatching Rocky 4 the other day when he goes and fights Draga. That's one of my favorite ones, because then it's like they keep telling him, there's no chance you can beat him. Because he killed Apollo, so there's no chance he can win. And then against all odds, he's able to defeat him. So it's one of my favorite ones.
Speaking of that movie, Steve, that's actually a great movie and a great point too. But remember the scene where because Rocky was like, he's kind of like by that point he was still like really rich and really wealthy. Remember how Paul and Rocky were chilling right at a scene, and he had a nice house with a pool and like jacuzzi and all that, nice villa, cars. And he like a robot that could kind of like this shit. Okay, sir, I got what you need. Like a little robot, like Alpha from freaking Power Rangers. They're like a robot, and you know what that actually means? Believe it or not, that's something we call brand placement. Those robots, to have those, bro, you have to be really extremely wealthy, like in the 80s or mid 80s, whenever the film is set, in the movie set. So
so he came from the streets. He came from the streets of Philadelphia, and he was able to, be able to make it like that. I agree. It's a truly inspiring story. Like, to be honest, for a movie, like very, very inspiring.
What the future can kind of help, because now those things are more popular. Technology has advanced so much. It shows you that like Rocky had a banging ass car. The Sancho is so kind of like cool, like 80s. Yeah, Rocky, he developed this story from the 70s to the 80s, all the way to the 90s. And like you said, it's really inspiring, great movies, great character development, and so forth. So, yeah, definitely, Bob. You're a big Rocky fan yourself, Bob. And you told me that some people say you kind of resemble Stallone a little. You got that look a little, man. Just a little.
Yeah, I have gotten that before. Listen, I want to tell you guys something. And I learned this from my boxing coach today at boxing. Burt Young, Paulie, who was, Rocky's brother-in-law. In real life, he was Customato's fighter. He was one of three Customato's fighters, and he was an undefeated fighter, I believe. So go figure.
Wow.
Paulie.
Yeah, I didn't know
Rocky. Stallone didn't have no boxing experience. He trained a little, but Paulie, Bart Young did, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. I actually read that before. I heard about that. That's awesome, bro. That's kind of a good point there. Very good, very good, very good insight there, Bob.
Yeah, I just learned that tonight, literally a couple hours ago. So.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah,
every day. You never know.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. Yo, Steve, I want to ask you real fast without going too far. Did we do any shout outs for like last time? No, I think we had somebody, didn't we? No. Last week.
From last week. So last week we were off. But then the week before,
2 weeks ago.
The week prior we had who do we have on 2 weeks ago? We had a couple people on, I think.
Like Mary's and Dritch, the usuals. Our guys and Tom Vaughn.
So 2 weeks ago we didn't. We had it was just beating the sun up and stuff like that. But then a few weeks before that we had it was a sports related podcast with Rich and Rob.
Rich, Tom, Mary's, and I believe Laventura, Rob. I believe. Okay, 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago was just me and you. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
just making sure, but.
As we enter, I just want to say, Bob, not only was it a pleasure to have you on, but your resilience is truly inspiring, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
you guys are inspiring to me as well. Seriously, and you guys are friends, and it's good that you have this show. And it's a very, very important show and forum
Thank
for people to go on. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys if you can in September. But yeah, you go visit a bunch of different websites. First, go to the Testicular Cancer Awareness Foundation
please.
website, testicularcancerawarenessfoundation.org. Find out about their programs and what you could do to raise awareness. If you want to donate to my campaign, again, this money goes to that organization. It's a verified charity. It's a verified website. There's no trickery or anything like that. Go to giveandgain.com/boxing for balls, or you could go to facebook.com/Bob Carson MMA. I posted links, or twitter.com/Bob Carson MMA. I have a lot of links to the fundraiser. And if you want to find out more information on the boxing event coming up September 16th and 17th, go to USA Boxing, USAMastersBoxing.com/New Jersey, and see all the information there.
Sounds good. Yeah, I just put it up on here. I have the Masters one up there, and then so these will be in the comments for everyone. And then I also have Facebook.com/Bob Carson MMA or Twitter.com/Bob Carson MMA. You guys can help out there. And yeah, no, definitely. I would definitely love to help out because you know, this type of stuff is always it's always important to me, you know, to help out. I think it's
awareness
for sure.
The community. That's good about the stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to check my calendar actually as soon as I get off of here, and within 5 minutes I should know. I'll send a message in the group chat that we have, and then I'll be able to let you know if I'll be able to go. So,
thank you, man. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on, Bob. Just thank you for taking the time tonight.
Thanks.
Take care, guys. Good night. Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely, no problem, man.
All right, Steve.
All right, man. Yeah. So I guess George, we'll wrap up here. George is out. So that being said, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching the podcast. Next week, we're gonna have something related to the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be kicking off the season, the 2023 season. And we're going to have a nice kind of like hype party here. We already broke down what our predictions were, but we'll talk a little bit about the 53-man roster. You check out some personal content. We'll have actually a pre-recorded video kind of set up, breaking down the 53-man roster, where our strengths and weaknesses are going into the season, because that 53-man roster is now finalized. We'll talk some potential moves that could be made during the season. It's not done yet. Potentially, I'm hearing rumors. Aaron Donald potentially to the Eagles. Could be a long shot. Same thing with Jonathan Taylor. Could be a long shot. Don't really know if either of those are honestly going to materialize. But, good rumors. But we'll also have a little bit of hype party here. We might potentially be having a former Philadelphia Eagle from about 15, 20 years ago. He was on the original Super Bowl team coming on this podcast to talk with us as well. So I am excited for that. But guys, check out to donate, facebook.com/Bob Carson MMA. I'll put them up here, or twitter.com/Bob Carson MMA. You can help donate to a verified charity for testicular cancer, spreading awareness. You can also check out Bob's match. It's either going to be on September 16th or September 17th at the Showboat in Atlantic City, usamasters.com/New Jersey. Guys, check it out. Just want to address the comments here. Marius, thank you for commenting in tonight. Fran, likewise, thank you for commenting in. I appreciate the support from both of you guys. And that being said, anybody who's watching this after the fact, and there's some people, it's late at night, it's a Wednesday night, might be unable to not tune in. If you're watching after, feel free to comment in, guys, and feel free to help donate if you have the means to do so, or even come out and support at the Showboat in Atlantic City. For more information, you can reach out to me, Bob, or George. And we'll go from there. All right, guys. With that being said, have a great night. Have a great Labor Day weekend. It's already here in the summer. It feels like in the summer, and the summer really is until end of September, guys. So enjoy it while you can. Have a great, happy, healthy, and safe Labor Day weekend. And we'll see you back next week for episode 141. Take care, guys. Good night.